Let's also listen. I'll give my take after this.
A former aide to President Goodluck Jonathan has attempted to counter claims made by a journalist and director at Objectv, Segun OlaWoye, who claimed in a viral video that 30 kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway had not been completed as alleged by the Ministry of Works. Reno made his assessment by taking journalists from various media houses.
We are at kilometer 19.5 and everything is verified by the mileage of the car, and that will be giving video evidence, photographic evidence will be given to everybody present and members of the public if they so want. Right now we are at Okun-Ajah. People in government should not think that people who raise these objections are enemies of the state, are haters. No, they have a right. A lot of these people are patriotic citizens. When people raise questions like this, it is not possible to over-inform them. You can only under-inform them. It's not possible to over-inform them. You can only under-inform them. So give them the information. Bring them on here. If they insult you, look, under President Jonathan, I was the most insulted human being in Nigeria. Myself, Ruben Abati, and the president. And here I am. I'm 51 years old. I don't think the insults have done so much damage to me.
All right, Dr. Abati, you and Reno Omokri there, he's saying that, it's important that the government listens to critics because it's not about the insults, it's about taking feedback. I believe that this conversation with Reno Omokri and, of course, the journalist who went out there, kudos to him, who went out there to find out whether or not the 30-kilometer had been completed is quite needless, because Reno went there and our correspondent Tokunbo Oyetunji also went there. He stopped at 19.5 kilometers, but our other reporter with the drone actually went there and did say that the road was disjointed, like what the journalist had said. But the fact still remains that about 30 kilometers or even more had been completed. It's just that it was disjointed. If you see the video that we have up there, if we can pull that up as well, we have seen that there's a whole 19.5 kilometers that had been completed at stretch, but there's still some sort of measures that need to be completed at this point. Dr. Abati.
Okay, very quickly, a number of things. Reno Omokri made a point that, look, the responsibility of a government is to provide information, and that government cannot over-inform the public. I think on that score is right. Two, he says that, look, that stretch of road, 750 kilometers total, is going to open up the whole of that corridor, both to real estate, to tourism. Again, that is right. Three is the distance between Lagos and Calabar. When I was, when I was an undergraduate in Calabar, it used to take us 12 hours to travel from Lagos to Calabar. You would take the entire stretch of the old road from Lagos to Benin, Benin to Onitsha, Onitsha to Owerri, Owerri to Aba to Ikorishi, to Ikwaransa, to Ikoripene. Before you get to Calabar, you stop at the Calabar Stadium. Before you find our way to Etagbo, to get to the campus. But now, that entire stretch of over 12 hours, by the time this road is constructed, you will spend just about 4.5 hours to get to Calabar. So as somebody who has traveled from this side to that side for a period as a teenager, I think it's something, that is a major worthy legacy project. And that's why I don't join people in condemning the project. Now the people are saying portions of it have not been completed. Now, I had asked questions. The median, that median you see, where there seems to be no construction, that is an optional route that has been left there to make provision for a future rail line. That's the explanation that I got. That in the future it's possible to put a rail line in that median, and then you can have, vehicles. You can also have a rail line. So provision has been made there. But what Reno Omokri has done is to travel up to 19.something kilometers, 19.5 kilometers, and to say, look, it is rail. And as for skeptics who say, they don't think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will complete the project. Well, it's for him a legacy project. I think that this kind of project that is a legacy project, he will be toying with the mind of Nigerians if he says he's not going to complete it. If he's lucky, he gets a second term in office. I believe that this will be a priority. And they are attacking the road from different sides, from the Calabar end, and this is the Lagos end that we're talking about. And there's a lot of commitment on the part of the Federal Ministry of Works. There are other ancillary issues about compensation, about setback, about who the contractor is and all that. No, those are another set of issues. But the big issue is that, the road is real and some progress has been made. Yes. And I think that we should just encourage government. But as Reno Omokri also pointed out, citizens have the right to ask questions. And if they ask questions, answers must be provided to those questions.
Absolutely. And some of the question concerns tolling. How much is it going to cost the average Nigeria to pass that road? Also the fact that it's our money that is being used to build the road. So we want to know how much it is. And also, like Dr. Abati has raised, compensation. I mean, because the realignment, the people that were displaced because of realignment, those people are still asking us to, what is it that they're going to do with that whole corridor?
Yeah, and the setback has now been increased from 250 meters to 500 meters. Some approvals that had been granted will now be revoked as well. That instruction has been given. So there's still a few complications. Now, I don't think the challenges are around the roads, the construction of the road and so forth. It's ongoing, yes. Like Dr. Abati said, there are a few questions, regarding some of the accountability issues if we're looking at costing, if we're looking at contractors and so forth. However, what raised this new, this resurgence of critique was people are asking, why are we doing all of this fanfare for 30 kilometers, only now to find that it's not even really 30 kilometers. So the question was really, was there need for the fanfare? And I think that's where we take the conversation back to, we've said this before and we say it again, that I think when the government is communicating, it's very important to just get to the point, to just communicate the points directly. We could have celebrated 20 kilometers, 19.5 kilometers, as opposed to the 30 kilometer stretch. That's number one. Number two, it was unnecessary. It was a little bit of drama that has become unnecessary because now people are countering it and so forth. What it does is it erodes public trust. It means that when there's communication, people will take it with a comma or a question mark. And we're trying to walk away from that. So when people raise their voices to critique, it's not because people are trying to fight the government or anti-government, but it's because we're trying to say, can we start this relationship all over again in a way that it builds, that fosters trust, transparency, accountability between all those involved? Because now here people have gone to prove it. I'm glad that Reno Omokri has done this. I think this is a really good thing that he has done. But in future, like we've said with, remember there were issues around loans, several issues come up, and we just say, let's just be transparent in our communication so that that public trust isn't eroded.
Well, you know what, to be fair, the contractor during the commissioning ceremony said almost 20 kilometers has been completed. Almost, he used the word almost, from the Lekki to the Okun-Ajah axis, and then almost 10 kilometers. So this journalist just went there to, really fact check. But the problem was the fact that Reno had posted a picture saying that he was at the 30th kilometer, which really wasn't the fact. But he has come out to clarify what he was trying to say, and we'll just say kudos to this administration because they have really done well with infrastructure at this moment. We'll take another story now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has returned to Abuja after spending 2 weeks in Lagos, where he celebrated the Eid al-Fitr festival. Well, the president was accompanied by the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and other government officials to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, finally ending public speculation to a rift between the two leaders. Well, upon his arrival in Abuja, the president commissioned the International Conference Center, which was renamed after him by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The renovated Abuja International Conference Center, now called Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center, was reconstructed with 39 billion naira and completed within 8 months. According to the FCT minister, President Tinubu commended Wike's excellent work and urged him to ignore busybodies and bystanders, emphasizing that Wike is a transformational leader with foresight, vision, and determination. Let's take a look.
I'm greatly honored and happy to be here to reopen this International Conference Center as part of our determined effort to change the way we do things, to reflect us as people of quality, people of character, people of determination, people of great spirit. That's what we are. And I'm glad in this week you are reflecting that. Don't pay attention to the busybody and the bystanders. Whatever they say, continue with your good work. You are a transformational leader. You have the voice, foresight, the vision, and determination to succeed. Thank you very, very much.
A transformational leader indeed. Well, during that ceremony, Wike, in what has become his signature style, showed up his dance move during the unveiling of that ICC center. Let's take a look. I mean, we see Governor Minister Wike here. I mean, it's just what he's always doing during his commission, but it was nice to see him really excited, and I was very excited to hear that the president praised him in that manner, because we know that Wike has always, been doing these commissioning, and he gets some sort of attack, like, Reno said, these attacks are very normal, but the president has shown confidence in the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Well, kudos to him. And that unveiling of that ICC center, Wike said it cost 39 billion naira to reconstruct within 8 months. Dr. Abati.
Okay. First, President Tinubu is the principal.
Yes.
Nyesom Wike is the agent.
Yes.
He being an appointee of the president. The principal, taking responsibility for the work of his agent and saying that he's pleased with him, there's nothing anybody can do about that. Is the president praising his appointee in public? Yes. What the president cannot do is to say, busybodies and bystanders like us cannot talk. The Constitution recognizes the right of busybodies and bystanders to make comments. And it is in that regard, with due respect, that I would like to make the following comments. Now, the International Conference Center is a major landmark in the Federal Capital Territory. I think it's commendable that that place has been renovated. It's a major cultural symbol. People go there for weddings, diplomatic activities take place there, lectures are given there. It's quite an impressive complex, just looking at it architecturally. Now, the president said he went there in 2024 for an ECOWAS conference, an ordinary meeting of ECOWAS, and then he discovered that the place was falling apart. And he had called the FCT minister to say, well, is this how low we have sunk? This place doesn't look befitting enough. It doesn't represent Nigeria well. And the FCT minister promised that, the FCTA will work on the building. And this is the result that we have seen. And the president, obviously was quite impressed with what his minister has been able to do within 11 months to transform that place. Well, I've not seen a full picture of the place, but for the president to have been so impressed to praise his minister, I think it's something commendable. And we'll join him in saying, well, for responding swiftly, Nyesom Wike did well. However, there's something we teach in critical theory. There's a subject in literature called critical theory. This subject is about temporocentrism. Temporocentrism means the tendency to think that your time and place is the best in history. In other words, to simplify it for ordinary people, it's called present-mindedness. There is, I think, a certain error of temporocentrism in the renaming of that International Conference Center after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nyesom Wike, the minister, says the reason they've done that is to appreciate the leadership of the president, and because he was the one that renovated, that gave directives for renovating the building. Okay, how about the people that built that International Conference Center? That International Conference Center was inaugurated, was commissioned in 1991, when General Ibrahim Babangida, president, as he called himself, was president of Nigeria. So if we're not suffering from present-mindedness, I think that the honor should have been given to the president who delivered originally on it, not the man whose administration renovated it. In fact, the minister of the FCT didn't stop there. Certain sections of the building were named after the Senate president, the Speaker of the House of Reps, the Chief Justice of Nigeria. It is temporocentrism to the extent that if another administration comes tomorrow, and that administration also decides to renovate the building, they might as well also go ahead and decide to change the name of the building. I think that, look, when we name monuments, we should be sensitive to history. That's my only major criticism in that regard. Otherwise, to renovate monuments, to rebuild them, to make them look good, a principal praising a loyal, obedient, appointee, I don't have any problem with that. But it's just about that historical detail. Because I imagine General Babangida, knowing that the building that he supervised originally has been named after another person, may not feel very comfortable with it. And this naming system, this naming of monuments after leaders, we should be careful. I hope Wike will not wake up one day and say he has named Aso Villa after President Tinubu, after renovating some sections of the villa, because I'm sure some sections of the villa will also be in need of renovation.
All right, well, all right.